What haunts your character? Is there something that's happened to them, or have they done something that's affected their beliefs, their behaviors, values, and even motives? The character wound has often been called the character ghost, and for good reason. It's a thing, some sort of action or event that follows your character, having a pervasive influence over their actions and the course of their arc. Guilt, grievance, grief, and gravity. The 4 categories that make up your character ghost and give added depth to their backstory. Today, we're going to explore how guilt can not just make for a powerful motivator, but also can develop your character's backstory and future actions.
I'm sorry for what I did to you.
You weren't sorry then.
I'm not that person anymore.
Jaime Lannister is a deeply flawed character. He's been called an oathbreaker for killing the king he swore to protect. He pushed a young boy from a tower in the name of love and has killed dozens by his own hand.
You have forsaken every vow you ever took.
So many vows. They make you swear and swear. Defend the king, obey the king, obey your father, protect the innocent, defend the weak. But what if your father despises the king? What if the king massacres the innocent? It's too much. No matter what you do, you're forsaking one vow or another. Where did you find this beast?
But it seems that none of these actions are what truly haunt this character. Some of these things have influenced him and drove him to change, but one action above all the other actions triggered his path to atonement. This very complex character is filled with tons of nuances. Redemption is a path that they have been on ever since the first scene of the book and the first episode of the TV show. Redemption for all of those actions, for killing a king, for pushing a boy out of a tower, and for all of those other failures. But the specific one that I want to illustrate today, the one that truly led him to change, the one that truly brought him guilt, was when he tried to save his younger brother Tyrion, and when setting him free from prison, ended up setting him free to kill their father. And leading up to this point, this character has been a failure on a number of accounts. He failed to protect his king, the Mad King. He was captured at the very start of the war with the Starks. And when tasked to keep the Stark girls safe, he failed at that as well. It seems that on the back of all of these failures, Jaime tried to do one thing right, to do something good to contrast all of those other wrongdoings. And thus, he released his brother Tyrion, only to have him go on and kill their father. Following this, he learns about his sister's affairs and decides to go forth to the Riverlands to make things right.
Kingslayer, I assume you're here to fulfill the vow you gave my niece. I don't see Sansa and Arya.
I don't have them.
Pity. Do you wish to resume your captivity? Then why are you here?
You know why I'm here.
This final action of leaving and going back to the Riverlands in the books is really the build-up and the call to action after all of the failures they faced and the guilt of those failures.
Someone forgot to write down all your great deeds.
There's still time.
Is there? For a 40-year-old knight with one hand? How can you protect me with that?
Guilt as a literary device can make some of the most unsavory characters, and even vile characters, feel worthy of redemption and justified on their path of atonement. Guilt is something that all of us can relate to. It shows remorse, that we are aware of a wrong action that we've committed, and wish to change and make amends. The reason why Game of Thrones' Jaime Lannister is such a great character to explore this concept of guilt and atonement is because they truly start out as one of the most vile and hated characters amongst the cast. The sins that he committed are on their face unforgivable. But over the course of the books and even the TV show, this character somehow becomes beloved, and their desire for redemption is accepted by the audience. For those who have not read the books, instead of going to the Riverlands, in the show, Jaime and Bronn go to Dorne instead to receive Jaime's daughter, niece, Marcella. But when it comes to our own writing, we should first establish a clear reason for the guilt. Just like in real life, the guilt your character faces should feel grounded in their actions. Second, we need to remember that guilt does not exist in isolation. It interacts with other emotions, motives, and relationships. This complexity is what makes characters like Jaime so relatable and even compelling. Now, one of the questions, of course, is how do we prevent guilt from feeling forced? The key for a lot of these character wounds is going to be authenticity. Guilt should arise naturally from a character's choices and desires. This way, readers can really empathize with their struggle. And we should remember that there are some things that one person may harbor guilt over, while another does not. As you implement this into your own writing, consider using guilt to shape the characters and the plot. By weaving this emotional stance into both's development, you'll create a very compelling arc that your audience can resonate with. Guilt can lead to a number of fulfilling arcs in general, some being positive ones of redemption and atonement, with others being negative, filled with despair and a sort of having their actions catch up to them.
Who sat down on the Iron Throne and watched as his blood poured onto the floor. He told me other stories as well, about all the things we would do to that man.
Guilt is a powerful tool in terms of writing and storytelling. It's a device that can act as a window into a character's moral compass and further develop their backstory and this ghost that they have. Next time you're outlining or thinking of a character, try considering using guilt to further influence their arc and their overall development. But guilt isn't the only thing that our characters can feel when it comes to our character wound or ghost. Interested in learning about the next on our list? Check it out here.